everybody, just a little lecture about the guide to letter writing. I have this in as text assignment so you can print it off to be helpful, but I wanted to go over a few things with you. The first thing is that the things you put in a letter, the date, you usually have letterhead, so where the circle is here you would have letterhead, but we put the address down here. So you have the sender's address, the inside address. Again, you won't have an inside address because of using letterhead. The salutation, dear sir, not dear sir or madam, or to whom it may concern, should not be used. If you don't know the person's name, try to find out their title, or just use the title you think would be used in that situation, like personnel director. Then there's the body of my text. Note, there's various paragraphs here. Students like to lump everything into one paragraph, and that is not good for comprehension. Then I have my signature block. I have 3 blank lines in between sincerely or regards, and then I have my name typed underneath it, along with enclosures or carbon copy, which means, maybe I'm sending a brochure from, my company. That would be enclosed to let the reader know, hey, there's something else I should be looking for. Carbon copy means I sent a copy to somebody else. Okay, so there's 2 formats you can use. There's block and semi-block, or modified block. I like the term modified block better. Oh, yeah, I'll get it there, don't worry. Okay, there we go. I'm gonna leave it right there. Maybe one more. Well, it's not gonna move, so I'm gonna leave it. Block is, I think, the best. Everything starts at the left-hand margin. You cannot screw it up. Semi-block, you have certain things like the inside, the heading and the signature block need to be they start at the middle, not are centered, they start at the middle. So that's kind of a hard thing to do because there's a certain place that you do that, like it has to be the exact middle of the page. So just use block. You don't get extra points for trying to do modified and it not working, so keep that in mind. All right, so I can't seem to get this to scroll properly for some reason. It's not liking me today. It's probably because I'm doing the video. Okay, there's another version of the letter. It shows you how to put the spacing in. Between the address and the date, you can put 4 to 7 lines. They say that you should be able to take a business letter and fold it in half. And when you fold it in half, as much as above as is below. I like my letters a little higher than that, but how do you get it to be halfway if your letter's shorter? Well, you can put extra spaces in here. I've seen texts that actually say you can put up to 10 spaces in there, which I think looks crazy, but to each their own. You put an extra blank line between the address and the salutation, and another space before you start the letter. Now, a lot of letters I get from students start off, this is to inform you. We wouldn't be writing it if we weren't trying to inform them of something. So it's not necessary to say that. It's an opening filler and it takes up space. We want to be concise. That's one of our goals in business communications, and we can't necessarily do that if we start off with, hi, I'm Lori Townsend and I'm a professor at NCCC. Well, I'm going to sign it at the bottom. You see it says John Cosmo, student, and that's his title. That's where you would find my name as well. Okay, so that talked about spacing. We talked about the folded. So we talked about leaving the 2-inch margin for the letterhead. Sorry, I got into my trying to forward this one more time. Okay, there are 3 types of letters, and you're going to have 3 letters in your portfolio assignment for this module. The first is routine or positive messages, and we always start with the main idea. Don't make people work for it because they might not read the letter or email otherwise. So an example would be, how they have those fish bowls at restaurants. Well, you put your card in and I pulled it. So yay, you win. I'm going to start off with congratulations. You are a winner this week at Lori's restaurant. And you get free lunch. Come in, ask for Lori, and we'll make sure that you get your free meal. I could say, you came into our restaurant last week and you must have put a card in our fishbowl. Why am I making them wait? It's good news. So here's examples of different types of letters and what you would do, and they follow up pretty nicely over 3 paragraphs. The first being the opening, the body, and then the conclusion. So it breaks it down like that for you. Okay, bad messages. No one likes to be the bearer of bad news, but unfortunately sometimes we have to. We want to lessen the pain if we can help it. We want to make sure that they read the entire letter, so we don't want to be, hey, we're not approving your credit. Sorry, good luck, bye. We want to be, because we have such low interest rates, we have standards that we have to meet. If you just get your credit score up 50 points, please contact us again. So that's what you want to do. There's you start with an opening or and a buffer, something that you can agree upon. You know, I love your store. I've been a customer for years, something we agree on. Then I'm going to give you the reasons, but because of your new policies, I can't support your store anymore. So I started with the reason and moved right into the bad news to de-emphasize it. And then I follow up with my closing. I hope you change your policies so that I can be your customer again. Okay. We also want to use the passive voice if we can. That was covered in an earlier chapter. I can say, Lori won't go to the store, and that's active voice because Lori is the doer of the action. I can make it passive to take the emphasis off by saying, the store won't be visited. A little awkward, but I'm coming up with this off the top of my head. There's some examples here as well. That takes the emphasis off the fact that I'm doing it. Okay. Oh, don't throw salt in the wound. What I mean by that is if you mention the bad news, you don't want to say, you know, I can't give you credit. Your credit score is too low. Again, I'm sorry. I really would like to give you credit. We're bringing it up. You bring it up once and you move on. Okay, so here's what to do with the bad news messages. And finally, we've got our persuasive messages. They tend to be a little longer because we need time to explain or to educate the audience or our boss. They tend to be a little longer than routine because it takes time to be persuasive. This is time to practice your sucking up skills, and your other time is your cover letter for your resume. That's the time to sell your skills. Use whatever benefits you can persuade the recipient. It can be tangible like an honorarium or intangible like giving back to your field. So for example, if I was asking someone to come speak at the Alpha Beta Gamma dinner, which is the Honor Society for Business Students, I could say, although we don't have money to pay you, we'll provide you with an audience of eager students starting out in business. Okay, so in the pattern we use for persuasive is to gain attention, build their interest, reduce resistance, and then motivate them to action. I like to put that to QVC. You know, I know we're not writing commercials, but they are very good at this. They get your interest, like, oh, look at this great ring. And then they do things to build your interest. Maybe someone they're giving testimonials or other customers calling in. I don't think they're real customers, but I don't know. And then you reduce resistance. Hey, you can make 3 payments over the next 3 months. It's not as expensive as you think. And then finally, motivate to action. If you call in the next 20 minutes, we'll give you a free pasta pot, or, you know, something along those lines, something to make them get up. When my daughter was little, she actually wrote a phone number because she was watching Sesame Street and PBS told her to go tell mommy to call to donate. And she actually wrote it on her teddy bear. I was like, wow, that's motivating to action. Okay, so that's letter writing in a nutshell. You've got one of each of these letters to do in your portfolio. Good luck, and if you have any questions, just ask.